If you don't fix this one mistake with your tattoo portfolio, your chances of getting into a tattoo shop are practically zero. A lot of new aspiring artists, when they're trying to get into the industry, actually make the wrong type of portfolio. So when they go into a shop and ask for a job, they get the door slammed in their face. In this video, I'm going to break down what the different types of portfolios are so you can make sure that you create the right type, which will actually land you a job instead of getting you laughed out of the building. What's up? I'm Nathan from Tattooing 101, and I've been in the industry now for over 12 years. And believe me, I've seen a lot of tattoo portfolios come to the shops that I've worked at, and I know what works and I know what doesn't when it comes to getting a job inside of a studio. What a lot of new aspiring artists don't realize is that they create the wrong type of tattoo portfolio when it comes to getting a job, depending on where they're at in the journey. But before we get into it, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button so that we can create more content for you to help you with your tattooing career. All right, so there's two types of tattoo portfolios, right? There's one that you want to create if you're getting a job as a tattoo apprentice, and there's another one that you want to create if you're trying to get a job as an actual tattoo artist and bypass that process entirely. And look, I'm all about transparency in this industry. I wouldn't recommend getting an apprenticeship these days like I did when I started. Back then, there was no online education or anything like that. Doing an apprenticeship was the only way in. Not only did it cost me 4 years of my life, I had to learn a lot of things by trial and error anyway, despite being a studio full of really amazing artists. But I also got kept around for free labor for a really, really long time, which is something that you don't have to do anymore, especially, if you got like a house, kids, mortgage, student loans, whatever. It's definitely not the best option in my opinion these days. That's why I tell people to learn how to tattoo online. That's why I teach people how to tattoo online. You get the same information, but in a way that's much easier, and you control the speed at which you want to learn. It's just a better deal in my opinion. But that said, if you are dead set on getting the apprenticeship experience, or maybe you've learned online already and you're in a state that requires you get a license and you just want to do like an accelerated apprenticeship so you get the piece of paper, you need to have an apprenticeship portfolio. Most of the stuff that I'm about to talk about applies to both an apprenticeship portfolio as well as an artist portfolio. The key difference is an apprenticeship portfolio should not have images of tattoos on human skin, whereas an artist portfolio, that's really all that you want to include in there. The reason for that is that when you're creating a portfolio as an apprentice, a lot of artists that are taking someone on that's learning tattooing, they're going to want a clean slate. All right. Tattoo education is much more advanced and, a lot more, mainstream than what it used to be. However, there's a lot of artists that haven't really gotten with the time. So when you come in there and you say that you've learned how to do a bunch of stuff online, what they imagine is that you've seen a bunch of Ink Master and then you've gone and messed up a bunch of your friends, and then they assume that you're going to have bad habits, which is a bit of a pain to make you unlearn and then relearn the right way because it takes longer. So they just won't want to borrow. So that's why when you're getting a portfolio as an apprentice, you mainly want to be focusing on your artwork to show that your potential as a tattoo artist, as opposed to stuff that you may already know when it comes to tattooing actual skin. Now, when it comes to creating a portfolio as a tattoo artist, you only want to include images of your tattoos, because if you come in there into a studio, everyone's been tattooing 5-10 years, whatever it may be, and then you've got a bunch of drawings but only 1 or 2 tattoos, straight away they're going to be immediately suspicious. They're going to be like, hey, how long have you been tattooing for? Who did you learn from? They're going to start asking a lot of questions, right? So when you are applying for a job as a tattoo artist, there's no leeway. You can't really say that like, I'm just learning or I'm new to this. You don't really get any kind of forgiveness if you have like a mistake. When it comes to the hygiene stuff, if you're holding someone's arm or anything like that, and you haven't got gloves on, if you're doing anything unhygienic in your photos, you're basically dead in the water straight away. And if it looks like you're tattooing, in a house, they can see carpet in the background or pets, animals, whatever it may be, it's going to be a flat no, regardless of how good your work is. On top of that, when you're taking photos of your tattoos, what you want to do is make sure that you're using a polarizing filter, okay? If you've got a bunch of glare on a lot of the tattoos, it just makes them look cheap and kind of trashy. You can get a polarizing filter off of Amazon for 20 bucks. They're super cheap. It's going to make the quality of your tattoos look a hell of a lot better when you see them on camera. So that's the main difference between putting together an apprentice portfolio versus putting together a tattoo artist portfolio. Now, some principles that apply to both, okay, regardless of whatever the position that you're going for, whether that's an apprentice or a full-time artist. Quality over quantity, okay? As an artist, when I'm looking at someone's work, I really only need to see 1 or 2 drawings or tattoos to kind of know where they're at, okay? I don't need to see 50 drawings to be able to assess their capabilities. It's quite evident early on when you initially just look at, their first drawing. So it's much better to have fewer pieces of art / tattoos in your portfolio than, to have lots of them that are kind of mediocre quality. Focus on quality first, produce the best possible art or tattoos that you can do, and only have those in your portfolio. Next up, you want to start and end strong. As people, we typically only remember the first and the last thing that we see. So when we're flicking through your portfolio, you want to make sure that the first drawing or tattoo is an absolute banger, and then you want to finish with one as well. Okay, put your best at the first image of your portfolio, and then the second best as the last image of your portfolio, so you can leave the best impression possible. The next one is a big one for apprentices. You want to keep it clean, okay? There's nothing more frustrating when you see a portfolio and it looks like a scrapbook. It's not intentional. There's cut out images of drawings on different types of paper and they're all just stuck on like a scrapbook, right? What that tells me as an artist is that, it's so infrequent that you're able to do a solid piece that whenever you do one, you have to cut it out and put it into your portfolio, as opposed to an artist that's maybe a little bit more skilled that can plan their portfolio out, pump out bangers on flash sheets and just put them all together, okay? It makes you look very unprofessional when it's all cut up and scrapbook together. So when you have art that you're presenting to a tattoo shop owner, you want to make sure that it's clean, flash sheets, nice border around it, everything's drawn on the same page, there's no cutting anything out or sticking different pages together. You want to make sure that it looks very intentional and the flash is very clean. Another biggie for an apprenticeship portfolio is you've got to be aware of where you're currently at in terms of your skill level, right? When you start tattooing, your drawing ability is going to be much greater, or at least it should be, than your tattooing ability. So there will be a period of time where what you can draw is much more impressive than what you can actually tattoo. Okay, this is something that I struggled with a lot when I started tattooing. I was doing realistic sleeves, black and gray realism and all this other stuff before I could even tattoo a straight line. One of the things my mentor first told me is just like, Nathan, you'll never be able to tattoo that at your current level, okay? Start simple, right? Do stuff that's actually within your ability to tattoo. So if you're new to this, you want to be focusing on small palm-sized pieces of flash that you can actually execute as a beginner, so that when you do start tattooing, you've got a whole portfolio of flash you can start putting on people straight away. As opposed to if you're drawing all this, crazy realism stuff, or like a T-Rex fighting a dragonfly or something like that, that you're not going to be able to tattoo because it's too big, it's too complex, it's too advanced, then you're basically starting from scratch. You've just done 6 months to a year as an apprentice. Now you're tattooing people and you don't have any flash to put on anyone because you've just realized that you can't tattoo as well as you can draw. So now all of a sudden you have to wind it back and start doing simple designs when you could have been doing them for an entire year leading up to that and have a ton of designs that you could sell to potential new clients. On a side note, if you are putting your own portfolio together now and you're not sure about what it should include, or if you're a little bit uncertain about whatever, or you got any questions, just pop them down in the comments, be happy to help you out. Now for the most common question that I get asked when it comes to building a portfolio to get into a shop. Should you have a digital portfolio or should you have a physical portfolio? So this is a funny one, right? A lot of old head tattooers absolutely shit on iPads because it makes the drawing process so much easier, so much faster, and so much more efficient, okay? The argument is that, you can't use the selection tool, or you can't rub stuff out when you tattoo an actual person. So if you get in the habit of doing that on an iPad, then it's going to set you up for failure. Now, I can see where they're coming from, but based on what I've seen from teaching thousands of aspiring artists how to tattoo, it's simply not true, okay? We have taught people that have specifically only used iPads and became amazing tattooers. That said though, perception is reality, okay? If you go into a tattoo shop and you try and convince an artist that it's okay to use an iPad and that you don't really need to draw stuff on paper, you're gonna get booted out the door, okay? It's much better to just tell them what they wanna hear and give them what they wanna see, and then once you've got a foot in the door, go off and do your own thing from there. Okay, so if you are going to focus mainly on digital, which I absolutely recommend because of how much more productive it's going to make you as an aspiring artist, the more productive you are, the more art that you produce, the more mistakes you're going to make, the more you're going to iterate, the more you're going to improve, the faster you're going to become a tattoo artist and achieve your goals. So if you've got a purely digital portfolio and all of your artwork is done on iPad, just take one or two of the drawings that you've done on iPad, trace it up on a piece of paper, color it in Copics or Prismacolor pencils or whatever it may be, just to show that you can actually do it. So when they say, oh, iPad makes things too easy and you'll never be a tattooer because you rely too much on technology, then you can flip to page 7 and just say, hey, actually I can draw too. I just use the iPad to speed things up so I can get more done. Once you can show that you can actually do it, it's going to, you know, be enough to put a lot of shop owners at ease. They'll be like, oh, cool. And then they'll be a lot more comfortable with giving you a job in the shop. If you found this useful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that we can keep making more tattoo content videos for you. And if you're learning how to tattoo and you want to get into the industry, we give a ton of free content away on this channel, which is more than enough to get you started in tattooing. And if you're trying to get into the industry, we give a ton of free value away on this channel, which is more than enough to get you started in tattooing. That said, check out our Artist Accelerator program. I'll pop a link down in the description. It'll give you everything that you need to know in order to get started in your tattooing career within the next 90 days. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.